ever feel like trying to find a job, like especially in manufacturing, is like
Oh, yeah.
navigating a maze blindfolded.
Totally.
It's
Yeah,
like super tough out
it
there.
really is.
Yeah. So that's why on today's deep dive, we are talking about getting you an edge, specifically if you want a career as a fiber machine tender.
Oh,
We found this website called RoleCatcher,
right.
and it is packed with insights.
Cool.
Full disclaimer, they are not sponsoring us.
Okay.
We just think it's really cool.
I agree. It's a gold mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
let's just jump in. Like when
Yeah.
you think fiber machine tender,
Okay.
what do they even DO all day?
So like all those like huge machines that take like raw materials like fiberglass, rayon, that liquid polymer stuff. They use those machines to turn that into like the long strands
Right.
that are called a sliver.
Okay.
So that's like their domain.
Okay.
It's a really cool blend of like super high-tech stuff and then also hands-on, which I think is really cool.
That's way cooler than I was picturing.
Yeah.
Okay, so RoleCatcher's career guide, it describes it as technical skill and craftsmanship,
Right.
which I thought was interesting
Yeah.
because you're right. It's not just operating machinery, it's understanding the materials.
Exactly.
Troubleshooting, making sure the final product is
It's
good.
like to be on it.
Yeah, so problem solving is a big deal then.
It's huge. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Wow.
And that's something that you can take anywhere, right? Like if you can think critically and problem solve and adapt to new situations, I mean, that's valuable no matter where you go.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And speaking of skills that you can kind of take with you,
Yeah.
RoleCatcher was saying that it's really important to highlight those on your CV.
Yes.
Especially now.
Oh my gosh.
With all this AI that's like screening applicants.
Oh, I know.
Like you got to impress a robot before you can even talk to a human.
That's the world we live in now.
Right.
It's true.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not just about listing off your old jobs anymore. You have to tell the story.
Oh.
You've got to like capture their attention, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the algorithms and Andy, the hiring manager, like both.
Yeah.
Like
It's a lot.
that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it seems like RoleCatcher gets that. They do, yeah.
Like they figured out how to stand out
Yeah,
when you're up against a ton of other people
right.
before a human even looks at it, you know?
Exactly. And we've all been there.
Right.
Just sending out application after application and hoping for the best.
It's brutal.
It's tough out there.
Yeah, so you got to work smarter, not harder.
100%.
And that's what they're saying, especially in a field where automation is becoming so prevalent.
Which is only becoming more and more common.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's almost like you got to speak their language, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Where you can even really show them who you are.
It's true.
And that's where RoleCatcher, I think, is really interesting, especially in this whole fiber machine tender deep dive,
Okay.
because they really get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah,
It's not just like, oh, come work in manufacturing, it'll be great.
right.
They're like, here's what it really is.
They give you the real deal.
Yeah, like they're upfront about the work environment.
Yes, exactly.
Like, be ready for noise. You might have to wear some gear. You might have to do shift work.
Which, it's not for everybody. Some people, that's not going to work for them.
Right, exactly.
But they're very upfront about it, which I appreciate.
Yeah, they're not trying to, like, lure you in under false pretenses.
Right, exactly.
And they have this whole pros and cons list.
Yes, they do.
Which is really, really great.
I love that.
Because you can see, okay, good earning potential, check.
Yeah.
Job security, check.
Yeah.
You get to work with cool technology, okay?
Most of the time, yeah, that's awesome.
But then on the other side, it's physically demanding.
Okay, yeah,
It can be repetitive.
right.
You might have to deal with hazardous material.
Be careful, yeah.
So they're not sugarcoating it,
No.
which I think is good.
Yeah, because then you can actually make an informed decision, right?
Right.
Like, does this actually fit with my personality, with my lifestyle?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You can figure that out before you apply for the job.
Exactly, which
That'd
is
be great.
important.
Yeah.
So important.
Instead of figuring it out 6 months in when you're like, oh, this was a mistake.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Whip it
It's being honest with yourself, too.
Right. And then on top of that, they go even further and they're like, okay, now that you have the job,
Yeah.
how do you stay updated? Like, how do you make sure that you're continuing to learn and grow?
Keep those skills fresh.
Exactly.
Really.
Which is important.
And they have resources like industry publications, professional organizations.
Yes, which is huge.
And that's the part that I really love because it's like,
It's a long game.
yeah, they're invested in you.
Yeah.
Not just getting you hired, but like long-term career.
Having a career, yes, not just a job.
Yeah.
A trajectory.
And then on top of that, they have this whole section, like they call it jobs.
Right.
It's like having a personal assistant for your job search.
Oh, I know. It's awesome.
You can track your applications, you can manage deadlines, you can organize everything.
Which is anyone who's applied for a job recently,
Oh my gosh.
that can be overwhelming.
The worst part.
So many different websites.
It's a lot to keep track of.
So that's nice. Very organized.
Yeah, that's great.
But I think where RoleCatcher really shines is the interview prep.
Okay, yes.
They said they have over 120,000 practice interview questions.
That's incredible.
I know. I was like, what?
That's a lot.
That's so many.
Yeah, but it makes sense though, right?
Right.
Because it's not just like general interview questions.
Okay.
They have questions that are specific to this role.
Right.
To being a fiber machine tender.
Which is great.
They've really done their research.
Yeah, they understand that different companies, different hiring managers
Exactly.
are going to ask different things.
Different styles, yeah.
So you're prepared no matter what.
100%.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So you're not just memorizing like generic answers.
It's tailored to you, which is great.
But then get this AI-powered feedback
Oh, wow.
for your practice answers.
Okay, so you practice, you can record it,
Yeah.
and then the AI gives you feedback.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you're talking to a robot, and it's telling you how to do better.
That's amazing.
Isn't that wild?
That's the future.
It's like Black Mirror, but for job hunting.
Right. It's really cool.
So it'll tell you if you're being clear, concise.
Interesting.
It can even catch, like, unconscious bias in your language.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay, that's really helpful, though.
It's super helpful.
Especially, we don't always realize what we're projecting, right?
Right.
So to have something that can objectively analyze that.
And be like, hey, you might want to rephrase that.
Yeah, you sound a little biased.
That's really useful.
It's like having a little
coach.
angel on your shoulder.
Yes. An interview coach in your pocket.
Yes.
Love it. Love it.
Isn't that cool?
That's really neat.
So it's like, okay, maybe you're a little rusty with interviews.
Right.
Or maybe you just get nervous.
Which is a lot of people.
This is like,
Yeah, very common.
it's like a cheat code.
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing.
It's like a superpower.
It is.
Going into that interview, you're like, I've got this.
I wish they had this when I was job hunting.
Right. Me too.
Oh my gosh, it would have been a game changer.
Seriously.
But then, okay, so you're thinking about this. You're like, okay, maybe Fibre Machine Tender is for me. But then RoleCatcher does this other thing, which I think is really smart.
Okay, what's that?
They have this feature. It's called Career Compass.
Ooh, I like it.
And it helps you explore other careers that are similar,
Oh, that's really cool.
like that use similar skills.
I like that a lot.
So maybe you start down this path of like, okay, I want to work with machines. I want to work in manufacturing.
Okay.
But then you're like, actually, I don't like fiberglass. I don't want to deal with the rayon.
Yeah.
You're like, no problem. Here are some other things you could do.
That's great.
Isn't that smart?
That's really cool because it broadens your horizons a little bit.
It does.
It shows you like what else is out there, which I think is so important, especially these days.
Yeah, because you might not know. You might think.
Right, exactly. Oh, I looked into this one thing. That's all I can do.
Right. Or this is all I'm qualified for.
Right.
And that's not the case.
And they're like, no, look at all these other things.
Exactly. You have so many transferable skills.
It's like they open a door to a whole new world.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Which is, I think, really empowering.
It is empowering. That's a really good point.
To, like, take control of your career.
Yes.
You know, be in the driver's seat.
Exactly.
I love that.
Instead of just being like, I guess this is my life now.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
It's like, yeah, you're not stuck. You have options.
You're not a tree.
And speaking of options,
Okay.
there's one more thing I wanted to circle back to
Yeah.
about the RoleCatcher guide.
Okay.
They have this whole section about specializing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Within Fibre Machine. Like, as a Fibre Machine tender.
Yeah.
So it's like, not just, okay, you learn the job.
Right.
But then you can actually go deeper.
You find your niche. You become an expert.
You can become, like, the expert.
Exactly.
At a very specific thing.
Reach this
Like they were saying, for example,
Okay.
you could specialize in binding fiberglass filaments.
Right.
Or like optimizing production process parameters.
Which is huge. That's a big deal.
It sounds like a big deal.
Yeah, if you can optimize those processes.
If you could be like the person who everyone's like,
you're the go-to.
if we're having problems with the rayon, call
Get them on the phone.
this person. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
They know how to fix it,
That's job security.
which That sounds, I mean,
It is. It really
like
is.
valuable,
Right.
yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Incredibly.
So it's like they're saying, okay, you can get your foot in the door,
Right.
but then you could really, like, become indispensable,
You become so valuable.
which I think is cool
Yes, absolutely.
because, I don't know, it just shows that you're not
You're not complacent.
complacent. Yes, you're not just like, okay, I'm here, I'm going to clock in, clock out.
Right. Don't rock the boat.
You're like, no, I want to be the best at this very specific thing.
You're pushing the boundaries.
Exactly.
I like it.
And speaking of being the best,
Okay.
I completely forgot about this other feature they have.
Okay.
It's the CV resume builder,
Oh, right. Yeah.
which seems like it would be so helpful
Hugely helpful.
for highlighting all this cool stuff you've learned
Yes.
in these specializations.
Because that's what's going to make you stand out from all the other Fibre Machine Tenders.
Because, yeah, there might be a lot of people who, like, know the basics.
Right. You've got to have that extra oomph.
But then, if you're like the rayon whisperer,
Right. You're like, I'm the rayon person. That's me.
they need you.
Exactly.
And they need a good CV to know that.
And that's how you show them.
Exactly.
This is what I can do.
Because you only get, like, one shot at a first impression.
Very true.
So you got to make it count.
100%.
I have to say, I'm, like, very impressed with RoleCatcher.
Me too.
This whole deep dive has been very eye-opening.
It's a cool platform.
They've really thought of everything,
They have.
especially for a job that, like, we didn't even know that much about.
I know, right?
Like, manufacturing, it's this big, huge thing.
It's a whole world.
And they're like, let's break it down. Let's help you navigate this.
It can feel very intimidating.
And it can.
If you're like, I want to get into manufacturing, where do you even begin?
Exactly. So they give you a starting point.
They do, yeah, which is nice.
And it seems like they're not just like, apply for these jobs and good luck.
It's more supportive, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we're invested in you.
Yes.
We want you to find a job. We want you to have a career.
Like they're saying, like, we're on your team.
Yeah, like, you got this.
We believe in you.
Yes, exactly.
Which is a nice feeling.
It is a nice feeling.
Especially when you're job hunting, because it can be
The worst.
soul-crushing.
It can be, you know,
So if you're out there...
and you're feeling lost.
Okay.
Remember, you are not alone.
There are resources.
There are resources. RoleCatcher is one of them.
Go check it out.
Go check it out. It's free.
Exactly. You have nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. You might be amazed at what you find.
Exactly. You never know.
And on that note,
Okay.
keep learning, keep growing.
And keep applying for those jobs.
Yes.
Until next time.
Until next time.